Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library.
Mortal Kombat. Ooh, prepare for disappointment. Mortal Kombat completely changed the scope of gaming forever. Between the ridiculous violence, the digitized graphics, and the mainstream exposure and actual congressional hearings, you could absolutely split the world of gaming into pre-MK and post-MK. And it remains one of the most famous video game franchises ever to this day, with a new game called Mortal Kombat 1 on the horizon that appears to be the franchise's 7th or 50th reboot. But going back to the original release, with anything that popular, they wanted to put it on every system possible, from the Amiga to the Genesis. And yes, as we've seen before on Game Boy Roulette, all the way back in episode 4, the series made its way to the handheld as well. But here's the problem. I had this one as a kid, and spoiler alert, it sucks. Released in 1993, it was an extremely slow, awkwardly playing, bad-looking game that took advantage of very little of the Game Boy's power. The funny thing is, the MK series quality on the Game Boy is all over the place. Mortal Kombat 2 is a genuinely great handheld fighting game, and you'd think they'd just stick with that, but then they mixed the formula up a bit more for Mortal Kombat 3, which took a step back in quality, and then took approximately 500 steps further back for Mortal Kombat 4. I don't know what happened. They really nailed the formula in MK2, and then abandoned it for future releases. So yeah, this episode is less, is this one any good? And more, hey everyone, look how much this game sucks. Such a shame too when the box art is so iconic. All they need is the MK logo, and they were guaranteed a bestseller. But don't let it, or the promise of it being an arcade smash hit, fool you. This one's bad. I just want to get this one over with. Let's do a fatality on Mortal Kombat. Ugh, I'm really not looking forward to this. Oh, Acclaim. Oh, Midway. Oh, what was the other company? Probe. Why are you doing this to me? Music really loud in one ear, near silent in the other. Mortal Kombat. Title screen looks alright, and that's the only place where the word alright belongs in this. This is genuinely one of the worst ports I've ever played. So again, this is just going to be a showcase of how bad it is. As you can see, the graphics are really good. You can almost tell who characters are. Johnny Cage is not in the game for reasons that have been lost to time. Now, I like playing at Sub-Zero, so I want you guys to tell me, can you tell which one Sub-Zero is? I happen to know this one is Sub-Zero, but there's no way you'd know otherwise. Oh yeah, and they spell Raiden with a Y. It was one of those weird games. A bunch of them did that. Listen to the music. Oh god, it's worse than I remember. Okay, let's watch. Punch. Punch. Oh, it's super awesome. I hit an attack, and then 5 seconds later, my character does it. Okay, the music's a little not bad. It's the nicest thing I'm prepared to say. Oh, so here's something interesting. You know how Sub-Zero, his ice ball has always been down forward punch, right? The Hadouken motion. Not in this game. In this game, it is back forward kick. And it sometimes works. Back forward kick. Thrilling, isn't it? You can't even get over to him in time. Like I said, I had this as a kid, and it sucked. It's one of those games, you know how when you're a kid, and you get a game, and even as a kid you want to be like, oh no, this is good, even though it's bad? Not this one. This one kind of transcends that into, oh god, it's bad. Oh, and I have the fatality right here. Let's see if I can actually do it. Forward, down, forward, B. That was it. I'm not kidding. His fatality is he rushes forward and punches you. There are a couple decent fatalities, quote-unquote decent, that turn you... Oh, they can't call it fatality, they call it finishing move. Scorpion turns you into a corpse, kinda, but there's no blood. The parade of identical bald men. It's amazing how Mortal Kombat 2 for the Game Boy, really good. And as far as a fighting game can be good for a tiny handheld system like the Game Boy, it was really fun. It was shockingly smooth, it played well, you could combo, it had good graphics, good music, everything. Then It's like they learned how to make a good fighting game and then just forgot again. Because 3 wasn't terrible, but also wasn't very good either. And 4 was just maybe the worst. Actually, I'd say 4 is the worst only because it had years of extra experience. Wait, how do you block? That just occurred to me. How the heck do you block in this version? There is one hidden character in this game. Reptile is nowhere to be found, but you can play as Goro. Oh, God. Look. Oh, God. I'm not even kidding. This ground texture is actually difficult for me to look at. But you can play as Goro. You just have to beat the game and enter a code. And a fun fact, I never beat this game. Because, I mean, look at it. I like the eyes back there. Even they're like, why are you still playing this? And frankly, I don't know. Is there any way to block? Aha! You have to hit A and B. That might be accurate to the original? I don't know, and again, I don't care. Oh, please do your fatality on me. Do it, you coward, damn it. Okay, that's all I have to say about this game, so the least I can do is show you guys a decent fatality, right? Quote-unquote decent. Let's pick Scorpion instead. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I was just mashing B, and Scorpion was simply not reacting. Yeah, I cannot actually get Scorpion's moves to work. Forward, down, A. Oh, that one worked? Ah, this game is so bad. Okay, I literally cannot get Scorpion's thing to work. Come on, we can do it. Forward, 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 yes. Come on, do it! Forget it. I'm closing this game and never looking back. Scorpion's fatality looks like this, and it's just as disappointing as the rest of the game. See, I warned you all. This is one of those times where going into the game, I knew exactly what my review was going to be, and playing it didn't change a thing. From the moment I first played this game as a kid, I was well aware of how awful it was. Let's start with the presentation. Rather than try to create their own sprites, or at least make the digital art work on the Game Boy, it's like they scaled everything down directly without any optimization for the new hardware, resulting in an ugly-looking game. The backgrounds were uninspired, and in the case of the dungeon, were actually difficult to look at, and the actual UI was boring, almost mechanical, which is the worst thing you want from Mortal Kombat. But the gameplay, oh, the gameplay. This is where the game goes from bad to all-time terrible. If you told me that the game was programmed to only listen to 50% of my inputs, I would believe you. It was a constant struggle just to hit a punch or kick, let alone one of the special moves. And it's not like they were worth it, because the animations were so massively laggy, the moves themselves so underwhelming, and the fatalities so unbelievably weak that there was no fun to get out of the game. It's like the game was made by people who didn't understand that fighting games have to be quick and responsive, and they instead focused on making the graphics as close to the original as possible, which was an impossible task given the limitations of the Game Boy. So there's not a whole lot else to say about this game. It really is one of the worst ports I've ever played, and a pathetic showcase of both the franchise and the system. Stay far, far away, but maybe check out Mortal Kombat 2 or 3, because they're far, far better. Seriously, back forward kick for ice? That's gotta be a crime against humanity. And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm BrianJ, and I'll see you next time.